are you able to sort of touch on, and it sounds fascinating, KGB's strangest experiments?
There's so few cases from Russia that make it into English, but some of them are very similar, like the nuclear stations and the nuclear missiles being tampered with, and then the fighter pilots and things like that. But then there's a case that I really like, and forgive me, my pronunciation is terrible, but Petrozavodsk?
Petrozavodsk. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
She's telling me that there was a special program. It was the traduction into Spanish from Russian was called like the net.
The net.
Net.
Okay, like a fishing net. Okay.
Y dile,
Okay.
Marta, y dile que participaban.
Angel hair, yeah.
Angel
Yeah.
hair.
Laika,
Sí.
pero, Laika.
Oh, Laika!
The following is a conversation with Mercedes Pullman. Mercedes is a distinguished writer and ufologist with a rich background in Soviet and Russian UFO research and history. She was born in the Soviet Union. Mercedes lived there until she was 25, witnessing the remarkable changes of a nation in transition. She is the granddaughter of Spanish exiles during the Spanish Civil War and graduated with a degree in Russian philosophy, later teaching Russian language and literature. After emigrating to Spain in 1990, she furthered her education, earning degrees in social work and social and cultural anthropology. Mercedes is currently the vice president of the Spanish Society for the Conservation of Cultural Heritage, where she champions the preservation of cultural history. She directs numerous digital magazines and creates online content diving into the rich history of the Soviet Union and Russian ufology, as well as collaborating on popular TV show Cuarto Milenio. Don't think I pronounced that correctly. As an accomplished author, her works include UFOs in Ukraine and the KGB's best kept secrets, as well as the KGB's strangest experiments. Again, we're joined by our friend Marta Vilches to help with the translation. Mercedes, along with Marta, will also be at Contact International UFO Congress in Madrid on the 12th and 13th of October, along with our man Tom Vernon. So, the following is a conversation with Mercedes Pullman. Let's jump straight in then. I understand that you were born in the Soviet Union. I'm interested in where your interest in the UFO subject and the phenomenon, where did that begin? What was your sort of journey to being interested in that subject?
Me dice que bueno, que tú naciste en la Unión Soviética, pero que lo que más le interesaría saber es por cómo tú te involucraste o empezaste en el mundo de la ufología.
Vale.
¿Qué te llevó a todo esto?
Vale. A ver, yo cuando viví en la Unión Soviética...
Háblame despacito, cortita.
Vale, sí.
Ahí,
Vale.
¿vale?
Cuando vivía en la Unión Soviética salían en las revistas tecnológicas y científicas y divulgativas mucha información sobre esto. Y también en cine, vale.
Cuando ella vivía en la Unión Soviética... oh, sorry.
No.
Oh, sorry. When she was living in the Soviet Union, it was a lot of information about the phenomenon about in different kind of magazines. ¿Qué revistas? ¿De qué tipo?
Revistas como científicas y divulgativas. Y también aparecían en las películas, siempre hablaban de marcianos. Por eso siempre me ha interesado si hay vida en el Marte.
And also in all the things of these times, always they were talking about Martians. So she started to be interested in what's going on around outside the Earth.
And is this from a fairly young age? What kind of age when did that start? Are we talking sort of 10, 11, 15, 18? What sort of age roughly?
¿A qué edad empezaste a estar interesada? ¿A los 10, a los 15? ¿En qué época fue?
Bueno, con 12 años ya estábamos preguntando si hay vida en el Marte. Y a partir de 12 años ya empecé a escuchar a la gente lo que veía en el cielo.
When she was 12, she started to be interested in what if it was life away from the Earth, and she started to hear and listen to the people when they were talking about this kind of things or watching TV or anything that it was about the subject.
Yeah. It feels like certainly in the UK and America, we tend to get, because of the algorithms, the sort of online algorithms, we get all of the content that's English speaking, American, Canada, UK, etc., Australia. I'm interested in what's it like. What was it like in the Soviet Union times? Was this something that was in the press, in the media? How did people kind of respond to it? Was it talked about, or was it very much suppressed? Could you sort of talk to that a little bit, just so we've got an understanding of is it in the media? Was it in the media?
Él está diciendo que, bueno, por los algoritmos y todo, normalmente en Inglaterra las noticias que suelen llegar son de Estados Unidos, de Australia y de otros países, pero que de la Unión Soviética en particular, pues es algo que no se tiene en noticias y que sí que le interesa saber cómo la gente interactuaba cuando hay noticias de ese tipo allí, qué hacían, qué pasaba, cómo se vivía.
Bien, diré que la Unión Soviética no, o sea, ni para psicología ni ufología era pseudociencia. Estaban estudiando fenómenos anómalos, no sé cómo traduces eso, aeroespaciales. Entonces, no hablaban de un platillo de metal. Y en 1928 ya estaban investigando estos fenómenos. O sea, mucho antes de que Arnold.
Vale. She's saying that the Soviet Union were investigating about in 1928 this kind of phenomena, but the people doesn't speak about UFOs or these things. They were always talking about aerospatial cruise. They never talk about ovnis like that.
Fascinating. We don't get to hear much about it. And I think that's why it's so fascinating. I mean, I've been really looking forward to talking to Mercedes, because I don't know, I suspect that Russia and China and all of the other kind of powerful countries have got some kind of a program where they look at, they index, they report on internally, sort of for defense military purposes. But we don't often hear about that. We hear about stuff in America from whistleblowers and things. Is it just that we don't hear it because we speak English and we don't get, the algorithm doesn't show us it? Or is there a different, do they deal with it differently in places like Russia?
Me está diciendo que bueno, que no, en Estados Unidos tú sabes que bueno, que había estudios y hay diferentes cada vez que pasa algo lo iban guardando. En cambio en Rusia pues eso no se ha oído y siendo un país con tanta fuerza aeroespacial y tal, quería saber si también hay archivos clasificados o eso no se habla o cómo sucede, porque no sabe si es una vez más por el algoritmo que a ellos no les ha llegado o es algo que no se ha podido hablar en el mundo en general.
Recuérdales que estábamos tras el telón de acero. La información de Rusia no salía. Entonces, sí, había un programa secreto que se llamaba Sietka. Sietka se traduce en español red, que funcionó 13 años. De hecho, hasta ahora siguen apuntando en los diarios, en las bases militares, todos los avistamientos ovni. O sea, y nadie guarda esto como un secreto, es una cosa normal. Ahí.
You have to remind that in that time, Russia was behind the Iron Curtain, so all the information never go. Not for you because you are English speaking in English, for all the world. And she said that yes, they keep the files, but they, how was called the program? ¿Cómo se llamaba el programa?
Sietka, se traduce en español la red.
La red. She's telling me that there was a special program. It was the traduction into Spanish from Russian was called like the net.
The net.
Net.
Okay, like a fishing net. Okay.
Y dile,
Okay.
Marta, y dile que participaban a la Academia de las Ciencias de la URSS y el Ministerio de Defensa. En este programa eran dos apartados diferentes.
Okay, in this program it was the Ministry of Defense and the Academy of the Sciences. The two of them make all together the things.
I think Russia had a much more, they were much earlier interested in this than America. America had its SRI, which was its ESP and their psychic spies, and they only did that because they found out that Russia had already been investigating it for a long time. So is it something which is a bit more accepted in Russia?
Me está diciendo que se sabe, como has dicho tú, que en Rusia se empezó antes todos estos tipos de estudios y que América los comenzó a hacer porque Rusia ya los estaba haciendo. Entonces, quiere saber si es que es porque allí están más abiertos de mente o está mejor visto o por qué.
Vale, había periodos que estaba bien visto, después periodos que estaba mal visto. Pero hasta Stalin, con el Roosevelt, cuando pasó lo del Roosevelt, llamó a 3 científicos que no sabían ninguno de que le has llamado Stalin, preguntar si este incidente se refiere a un peligro para URSS. Y los 3 han dicho que no. Dice, entonces no despreocupémonos. Y ya está. O sea, hasta este nivel.
Okay, she's telling me that there was periods of time, that sometimes it was more open about all this kind of success, and other times they were more closed. And for example, she can say that when it was the Roswell incident in the USA, Stalin called them and asked them if there was any kind of a problem for Russia to this incident, and they say no, and they stop asking about that.
Right.
Pero que no se olviden, perdón, que no se olviden que también tenían el programa secreto, que tampoco sabíamos en Rusia que habían esos programas.
But also that you don't have to forget that they had already their own secret program that in Russia they don't knew about all that things happen.
Brilliant, brilliant. Well, there's so few cases from Russia that make it into English, but some of them are very similar, like the nuclear stations and the nuclear missiles being tampered with, and then the fighter pilots and things like that. But then there's a case that I really like, and forgive me, my pronunciation is terrible, but Petrozavodsk?
Petrozavodsk, yes.
Yeah. We've heard so little, but that's such a fantastic picture, and that's so different to anything from that's seen in America or over here. So was there anything else like that, or was that a bigger case?
Sí, Marta, dile que en Petrozavodsk, ya lo entendí. En Petrozavodsk fue un lanzamiento de satélite. Lo que pasa es que vieron en muchos países, y es en este año cuando se constituye la red, o sea, el programa secreto, porque al principio no sabía qué es. hasta que el Ministerio de Defensa empezó a buscar y han encontrado que fue un lanzamiento que vieron todos.
She's telling that that case in particular was a satellite. A lot of satellites that they saw, and sorry, tell me
Sí,
more.
mira, a este caso se fue en Finlandia, en muchos países, y había como una medusa. Entonces era un lanzamiento de satélite, de cohete 811.
Okay, many different countries like Finland and other more. They saw like a big cupola.
Yep.
Dome,
Yeah, like a jellyfish. Yeah. It was
okay.
amazing. Yeah.
And that is.
Y dile que a partir de este caso se creó el programa secreto Sietka.
And then they create the secret program because of that.
Ah, right. Fascinating. Fascinating. Well, but that's like I say, that's just one of about 4 cases that ever made it over here. So I'm really interested if she has any more good cases or stories from over there.
Dice que bueno, que como decía, que este es un caso
Sí.
que fue el que más se oyó, pero que si tienes alguna otra historia interesante que poder contar.
Yo tengo muchas historias que llevan un libro ya. Sí.
She says she got plenty of them because she wrote a book about all that.
Pero le voy a contar una anécdota que me contó un hombre que trabaja en Kapustin Yar. Es importante que digas en Cosmodromo Kapustin Yar. Dicen que cuando ellos lanzan el cohete, como siempre aparece el ovni, ellos hacen como una porra, la lotería. ¿Cuándo va a salir? ¿Antes de despegue, durante o después?
She said that when she met a man that he told he was working in the, what is the name? El nombre de donde trabajaba?
Kapustin Yar.
Kapustin Yar. And when they fly the cohets, they make like a porra. How you say that?
La lotería, dile lotería.
Like a lottery, yes. They made like a lottery to see if the ovni is going to appear before they go, in the middle, or when they already is gone.
Y también que en este cosmódromo había 2 Roswell rusos. Le llaman así los ufos. 2 Roswell rusos. Uno en 48 y otro en 79.
And also they call them Roswell as well. There was 2 cases of Roswell ruso, one in the 1948 and the other one
En 1979.
in 1979.
De hecho, después de 1979 han encontrado una malla de una composición especial que han estudiado los científicos y hay documentación de esta investigación.
And after 1979, they found a special piece that they find, they study the composition and everything, and there is a lot of documentation about that case.
Wow. Brilliant. That's like the Gary Nolan had the meta materials that they say it was magnesium and gallium, I think. So I'd be very interested to see if it was similar.
Dice que si sabe si podrían estar hechos con magnesio y galio, que si sabe si tienen algo en la composición.
Sí, tienen magnesio, el galio, tienen el sodio, tienen muchísimas cosas. De hecho, yo tengo apuntada la composición de la malla. También durante los avistamientos han encontrado unas bolitas negras que también se han investigado. O sea, realmente hay investigación. Tú explica que cuando salió Yeltsin, o sea, él abrió muchos archivos y cuando entró Putin, los cerró todo otra vez. Entonces, claro, toda esta información tenemos de un poquito cuando sacó Yeltsin.
Yeltsin, ¿no?
Yeltsin.
Sí,
Boris Yeltsin, que era presidente de la Unión Soviética antes de Putin.
when Boris Yeltsin was in the Soviet Union, he opened a lot of files. And when Putin came back, they closed it again. And she was telling about the composition that you were asking, that she already have all the composition, but as you were saying, there was gallium, there was also sodium, and another
Sí, el platino, había muchas cosas ahí. Había como 7 u 8 componentes.
7 or 8 different compositions. And also they found it like a black spheres, round spheres,
Pequeñas.
smaller.
Sí.
And also, ¿qué pasaba con ellas?
Que ellas también tenían unas propiedades que hasta se cambiaban con el calentamiento. O sea, se cambiaban de composición.
And the composition of these little spheres changes when you put heat on them.
Y pregunta, yo no sé si ellos saben cabello de ángel, ¿qué es? ¿Ellos saben lo que es cabello de ángel? Es una, te explico, pero pregunta a ellos porque es lo que dejan, o sea, lo que afirman los militares es lo que deja el vuelo de ovni, que cabello de ángel es como una espuma que puede desaparecer o se queda como negra y huele muy mal.
Do you know what is called in Spanish cabello de ángel? It's like a foam.
El pelo de ángel.
Yeah, angel hair. Yeah.
Angel hair that they leave when the ovni is gone. Black sometimes and sticky, depends.
Pues eso también hay en Rusia. Estos,
also they have all this information in Russia.
There was a similar case in France. I think I posted a video of it the other day. There was the angel hair case. I can't remember. I want to say the 70s in France. It's fascinating. There's what do you get a take on why Russia? I'm fascinated by Russia because I think that Russia's probably got just as many, if not more, programs and kind of potential reverse engineering type programs happening at the same time simultaneously with the United States. Do you get any take as to why we don't hear more about it from Russia? So we're hearing lots from. I know I kind of asked this question earlier, but is there do you have a take on if they have a plan in place? Is it a case of we want to get we want to weaponize it first, or what's their kind of thought process on keeping it a secret? Do you have a take on that?
Dice que aunque ya lo han preguntado antes, el tema de por qué en Rusia hay tanto ocultismo, pregunta si no puede ser también porque está la cosa de querer ser los primeros en descubrir cosas o en, ¿sabes?
Sí. A ver, todos saben que Rusia siempre competía con Estados Unidos. Y cuando se ha abierto el programa Stargate, entonces se ha abierto el proyecto Sietka en Rusia. Cuando se hablaba de parapsicología, también ellos preparaban soldados psicológicos, Rusia también preparaba. Siempre iban al lado. Después todos han dicho que han cerrado programas, pero no es verdad, no han cerrado nada. O sea, el programa sigue, pero con otro nombre. Y ahora te cuento más. Traduce eso y ahora te cuento más.
Sí, por favor, que se me va.
Sí.
Jimmy, exactly, she said that you are right, that it's more a competition thing between America and Russia. That she said that always when they start one program, they start another one. All the time when they have one, for example, they started to do psychological military things with the crew. In Russia, they say that they do the same. And when they say everything was stopped, the two of them say that they doesn't do anymore nothing, but it's not true. They are still doing things and they are side by side.
Y siempre había como esta competencia. Por ejemplo, en 1983 había en Ucrania que saltaron todas las alarmas y ponía START de arma nuclear. Pues lo mismo pasó en Ucrania. y nadie sabe, o en Ucrania, en Estados Unidos, al mismo tiempo casi, y nadie sabe lo que es.
And she's saying that also one very interesting thing is one time happened in Ukraine. They start like an alarm talking about a nuclear attack, and also happened more or less at the same time in America happened. So that is very strange, and nobody knows why, but that happened already.
Y dile, Marta, que los rusos siempre cuando buscan algo en el cielo es defender el territorio de Rusia. No es que buscan ovnis, están defendiendo, pueden venir de otro planeta, pero están defendiendo el territorio.
She's saying to me also that the Russian, they are not looking for life in another planet. They are looking for to be safe their country. So when they are watching the skies for light or something, it doesn't matter if they come from another planet or they are from United States. They only want to be safe.
Interesting, fascinating. Is there so I know Mercedes, you're a writer and you've been involved in a TV shows or documentary. Are you able to sort of touch on, and it sounds fascinating, KGB's strangest experiments?
¿Puedes dar algún ejemplo de alguno de los experimentos que...
De los KGB, ¿no?
Ajá.
Sí, ya, ya. A ver, voy a explicar. KGB era todo el país. Todos trabajaban para el KGB. ¿Vale? Traduce y voy traduciendo y voy diciendo.
KGB, it was all the country. Everybody was working for KGB.
Ah.
Todas las instituciones científicas trabajaban para el KGB y todas las fábricas, todos trabajaban para la KGB.
All the scientific institutions, all the factories, everything was working for KGB.
Y a ellos no les gustaban el fenómeno ovni porque no querían trabajar con esto.
They didn't like it, the phenomenon ovni, because they didn't want to work with that.
Pero también hacían experimentos, por ejemplo, en 1976 ya estaban preparando el viaje a Marte.
But they also made experiments. For example, in 1976, they were starting to prepare the traveling to Mars.
Entonces, el fundador de aviación, Sergei Korolev, que era muy famoso, eligió a 3 personas totalmente incompatibles psicológicamente para encerrar en una lata, o sea, como si fuera la cápsula de espacio, 365 días, que es lo que duraría el viaje a Marte.
Then they picked 3 different people with a different way of thinking and personalities opposite, and they put the 3 of them all together in a simulation of a capsule. So they during 375 days, that it was going to be the time that they thought it was going to be the traveling to Mars.
Entonces pasaron muy mal, vieron alucinaciones. Uno tenía que hacer una operación con un espejito chiquitín, porque tenía un quiste. Pasaron muy mal y solo tenían comunicación por radio.
They have a very bad time. It was also one of them to have to make himself an operation of a sebaceous cyst with a little mirror, and they started really in bad conditions.
Y dile que eran voluntarios y han dicho a sus familiares que iban a Antártida para trabajar y estarían un año incomunicados. Voluntarios.
Also, they were isolated. They couldn't communicate with anybody. They just were having contact with radio with the experiment people, and they had to say to the families they were going to be for 1 year in the Antarctic, doing another kind of experiments, but not talking about the real one.
Y había otro experimento que 40 personas jóvenes se han tumbado durante un año en la cama, levantado con un ángulo de 6 grados, que es como estás en la cápsula, sin moverse de la cama, durante un año.
And it was another experiment that for 40 people, 40, no?
Sí,
40 people were sleeping in the bed. They couldn't get up, only in a 6 grados,
sí,
Yeah.
because it was the way they should be in the capsule.
Y después tenían que tener recuperación porque tenían que saber cómo actúa la sangre durante el vuelo.
And also they have to do all this because they need to know how the blood it was acting in all the flight time.
Y dile que tengo un documento de año 1961 de una construcción de una estación de radio para comunicarse con Venus, Marte y Luna. No sé qué hacían rusos en 61 comunicándose con esos planetas.
And she also has documentation that proves that they have a radio station to communicate with Venus, Mars, and the Moon. She doesn't know for what they have that in that time.
Estamos hablando de año 61.
We are talking about the 1961.
Wow. That's fantastic. Well, yeah, that makes you, that sets the imagination off, doesn't it? Yeah, why would they possibly need to? I know that we bounce signals off the moon in order to communicate on Earth or to guess distance, but why would you need to communicate with Venus and Mars? That's very, very interesting. So is there anything, because in America there's conversation about a secret space fleet, as if there was some sort of advanced space travel possible. Is that something which is talked about in Russia as well?
Dice que si en Rusia también se habla sobre la posibilidad de que haya bases secretas en distintas zonas de
Sí.
la galaxia.
Bueno, en Rusia dice que no hay. Además, dile que rusos nunca llegaron primeros a la luna, fueron americanos.
Que en Rusia nunca
No,
te van
en
a
inglés.
O sea, sorry, I'm trying to translate to Tommy in English, in Spanish. She's telling me that in Russia they are never going to say that this exists. Also, as they don't know, they never say that they were the first to go to the moon.
Y los rusos reconocen que no llegaron a la luna porque realmente, o sea, no le cuadró el carburante y estaban ahí discutiendo los ingenieros y al final llegaron primeros los americanos y rusos lo reconocieron.
She said that the Russians recognized the American was the first one because they say that they had troubles with the engineering and the petrol and all these things, and they couldn't make it before. But
pero también hay habladurías que los hermanos italianos, los aficionados a la radio, han captado las voces de los astronautas, se supone, de astronautas que han muerto. No era eso, era una planificación de un... es que te voy a acordar. Sí, primero dile lo de los italianos, de los hermanos italianos, y ahora explico qué es lo que han captado.
Okay. She also is telling me that it was the Italian-German people that are used to have radio stations. Yeah? They found different conversations from Russia. They say it was the astronauts that they were dead at this moment, and they could hear everything about that.
Bueno, pues explica que era un experimento de Soyuz 5, el satélite Soyuz 5, que le pusieron una cinta de magnetófono para saber cómo se oye la voz del espacio. Y eso es lo que captaron los italianos y que dicen que los rusos llegaron primeros a la Luna, pero no fue así.
Okay. And she's telling me that it wasn't that true. The thing was that they make another experiment, doing a recording tape, because they wanted to see how the voice was in the space, and that is what they hear. But it wasn't that the astronauts was dead.
That's a strange message to use for a test, isn't it?
Yes.
Instead of saying test 1, 2, 3, you say that the astronauts are dead. That's an awful bad taste thing to say in space. Oh dear. So tell us a little about your UFOs in Ukraine.
¿Nos puedes decir alguna cosa sobre UFOs en Ucrania?
Hoy, claro, tengo un libro sobre UFOs en Ucrania. Entonces, en Ucrania, hasta el Ministerio de Defensa tenía un departamento de estudio OVNI.
En Ucrania, even the Defense Ministry have a special department for UFO in
Y allí han pasado los casos muy interesantes. Entonces, claro, yo en el libro cuento cómo pasan en varios lugares y sobre todo los encuentros cercanos de ahí.
And she's telling me that it happened in many interesting cases. In her book, she talked about many of near encuentros, encuentros cercanos.
No sé cómo es en inglés encuentros cercanos.
Close encounters, I think.
Sí.
Yeah.
We don't see. This is the thing.
Close encounters. So.
There's so few. See, this is the thing. There's such a clearly, there's a rich history in America, in in Peru, in Russia, in all of these different places. We spoke to Jaime Muson a few days ago, last week or so, and it just goes to show. I mean, he's been deep in the subject for many, many years, but it's only recently that people in America, UK, have figured out here's this guy and he's got all of this information, and I'm sure it's the same with Mercedes, that she's big in the languages that she covers, but then we're just learning about this. I wish there was a way that we could sort of join up more, and that's why I think this is quite important to have these kind of conversations. But I'm learning so much, and I'm pretty deep into the subject, and I'm sure it's the same for Tom. Is there a way that we can share information better?
Pregunta si habría alguna manera de poder tener mejor información, que igual que desde hace años no había tanta información y ahora está empezando a haber más información en todas partes, ¿cómo se podría conseguir que la información de la Unión Soviética o de Ucrania o de tal fuera también más abierta?
Pregunta si quiere traducir mis libros.
She's telling me that if you want to translate her books.
Que ahora voy a preparar un libro de ovnis en la URSS. Entonces allí se habla de todos los casos, de encuentros cercanos, de todo. Va a hablar en este libro.
Now she's going to publicate a book about ovnis in Soviet Union, and she's going to put all the information that she's been taking for everywhere.
Pero también dile que si quieren, yo les mando el link de las páginas rusas y ellos dan un clic con el botón derecho y lo traducen para enterarse de algo. Si quieren, yo les mando eso.
Also, she's telling me that if you want to, we can send you the files of the websites in Soviet Union, that if you read with the click, you are going to be able to read in English.
Hasta hay libros escritos en ruso, y entonces cuando le dan el clic que es online, y entonces pueden leer todo el libro.
There is many books are writing in Russian, but when you are watching them via online, is translated already, so you can have more information about all of this.
Además hay unos libros muy buenos de un ufólogo que a mí me encanta, que es Mikhail Gerstein. Entonces él también, o sea, les puede mandar porque no es fantasioso, es bastante crítico, pero lo reconoce que hay, o sea, entonces le puede mandar los links de esos libros que le van a enriquecer mucho.
She's also telling me that she can send
Mikhail Gerstein.
The links of Mikhail
Gerstein,
that he is an Russian ufology, and she says he is very interesting because he doesn't invent things. He's very serious about everything, and good to know more about it.
Claro, porque tengo dos webs, una de Ucrania y otra de Rusia. Lo que pasa es que, claro, toda la documentación está en ruso y no pueden traducirlo.
Because she has more information about Russia and Ukraine, but all the documentation is in Russian, so that is very difficult for you to translate and everything.
Pero los libros yo les mando los links y que lo lean.
But the books, she can send you the links and you can read it.
Awesome, superb. Well, look, I mean, Tom's going to be there, and you're going to be speaking at the contact event. Tom will be there reporting back for us UAP files, so we're going to cover it, and we're going to make sure that everyone that listens to this knows all about it, and we're going to try and integrate some of the stories from outside of the UK and America. We're very siloed. We're very echo chamber in the UFO community. Everything that ever happened to do with UFOs happened in America, and we know that's not true. We know that's not true, and it's I think it's important to cover some of those cases. I think just looking at the time, we really appreciate your time, and I just think we probably will call it a day there if that's okay with Mercedes, and just thank you so much for your time.
A ellos, que estoy encantada de participar, y lo siento la tardanza, y que también, o sea, tenemos muchas cosas que hablar con Tom cuando llegue. Necesitamos traductor.
She's telling me that thank you very much for the opportunity, that she's been having a very good time, and she's waiting to meet Tom in person, and well, she will need a translation, but she wants to meet you in person.
Brilliant. When I Mercedes, when I meet you, uno regalo para ti.
Oh, qué bonito.
Es Laika,
sí.
pero Laika.
Oh, Laika.
Laika, escucha, Marta, dile experimentos espaciales han muerto 56 perros. Han participado. No solo Laika, Bielka y Strelka, 56.
She's telling me that in all the experiments, it's been dead already 56 dogs, not only Laika.
Oh, no. She's still alive. That's what I believe. Yeah.
Just before we go, for listeners and people watching, where would be the best place to find Mercedes, find her material and books and shows and stuff? Is there a website?
Salen coches de lujo y no yo, y me enfado.
Okay, she's telling me she's a very easy lady, because it's only you can put in Google, you put her name, and everything is going to appear. And also the more difficult is for YouTube, because if you put Mercedes Pullman in YouTube, it's coming luxury cars instead of her.
Yes, very true. Yes, we have this problem.
Very easy to find her.
Superb. Okay, brilliant. Well, look, thank you so much, and we look forward to talking to you in person. I'm going to be there in spirit, and I know that Tom's looking forward to getting stuck in and seeing you in person. So, thank you again. Take care of yourself.
Thank you very much for you.